Canelo done something that is amazing when Canelo was able to go to light heavyweight and become light heavyweight champion. Something that I didn't even see him going up that heavy, and he did that.
Canelo lands good punches. I think Canelo could hurt Crawford. Crawford's, first time in that division and jumping 2 divisions.
The way that Terence Crawford being, to me, my favorite fighter, the best fighter pound for pound, can be Canelo. A 147-pounder moving up to 68.
Floyd Mayweather shares his thoughts on why Terence Crawford might struggle against Canelo Alvarez, highlighting the big weight gap. He explains that moving up multiple weight classes isn't just about skill. It's also about coping with size, strength, and stamina at the top level. Canelo has experience facing naturally bigger fighters, whereas Crawford is entering unfamiliar territory. According to Mayweather, this physical difference could be a major challenge for Crawford, even with his technical mastery.
Because of the weight disadvantage. I can't go all the way up to 180 or 190 pounds.
Robert Garcia believes that Terence Crawford's biggest challenge in the super middleweight division could be his limited experience at this level. While Crawford has shown his brilliance across multiple divisions, stepping into Canelo Alvarez's natural weight class is a different kind of test. Garcia points out that Canelo has spent years perfecting his skills against naturally bigger opponents, whereas Crawford still needs to prove he can maintain his speed, precision, and stamina at this weight. The trainer notes that Crawford's body hasn't fully adapted to the new weight, which may make him less explosive and fluid than usual. This could become a crucial factor when he faces a seasoned champion like Canelo, who naturally dominates in this division.
Being 2 divisions where he only had 1 fight at 154 and didn't look his best either. So there's a lot of questions, about that. And that's why a lot of people think Canelo is going to knock out Crawford, but I'm probably one of the only ones that I do give Crawford a chance. Yeah. I think Crawford could pull it off. Crawford is very talented. He's very fast. He's very smart in the ring. So I think a perfect fight, Crawford could pull off a decision.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think he could win a decision. I don't pick him. I wouldn't put my money on him winning because it's a very dangerous, risky fight, especially with Canelo being so strong. But Canelo's last few performances, he's looked slow, flat-footed, looking for 1 punch at a time. And if that's the Canelo that fights Crawford, Crawford could win a decision. Crawford could outbox him, could outsmart him, could land 3-4 punch combinations and move and win a decision. So do I give Crawford a chance? 100% think Crawford could pull it off. Would I put my money on it? Probably not, but I do give him a chance.
Yeah, good stuff. Look, Robert, appreciate you taking time to speak to me. I appreciate you letting me in the gym today. Always a pleasure. And hopefully be catching up sometime soon.
Thanks
appreciate it.
Thank you very
Cheers.
much.
Appreciate highlights the significance of a potential Crawford versus Canelo matchup. They explain that if Crawford can successfully handle Canelo's size and power, it could elevate his boxing legacy to new heights, placing him alongside all-time greats like Floyd Mayweather. Defeating a champion of Canelo's caliber would cement Crawford as the top pound-for-pound fighter of his generation and remove any doubts about his career. However, Appreciate also emphasizes that such a victory wouldn't overshadow Mayweather's legacy. Instead, it would secure Crawford a prominent position immediately after Mayweather, whose undefeated record and era-spanning dominance remain unmatched. Still, this fight presents Crawford with the chance to reach elite status, making it a defining moment in boxing history.
3-time undisputed is insane. If you were to beat Canelo, Terence Crawford, at that point, pound for pound, right under Floyd. Right under Floyd. Wherever you got Floyd, I put whatever you got him, Terence Crawford is right behind him. Unless you got him first. Okay, how about me? Because I don't have Floyd in my top 10. I have Pacquiao over Floyd. So I know somebody's about to get moist, but I would put Terence Crawford, man, shit. Man, that's old school. That's Henry Armstrong, Sam Langford. Like that's old. That's Joe Gans and Barbados Joe Walcott, Barbados Joe, not Jersey. I'm Barbados. Like that's old school accomplishments. Man, that's throwback though. I would have to assess that. 3-time undisputed in the 4-belt era, and against who? Yo, that I don't think Pacquiao would have I don't think he achieved anything in a single fight that would be greater than Terence Crawford jumping up 3 weight classes and beating Canelo. I don't think Pacquiao achieved anything in a single fight greater than that. Not in a single fight. Beating Cotto, I still, because Cotto was weight drained. Has Floyd done anything? Well, he beat Canelo.
Jeff Mayweather reacted strongly to Canelo Alvarez's claim that Crawford is better than Floyd. According to Jeff, such statements are more about boosting Canelo's own image than reflecting the truth. He explains that after Canelo suffered a loss to Floyd Mayweather, calling Crawford superior seems like a way to rationalize that defeat. Jeff also acknowledges Crawford's talent, but points out that he hasn't yet achieved the same level of dominance or career milestones as Floyd. In his view, Floyd's undefeated record and his ability to handle elite opponents across different eras prove that comparisons shouldn't be made until Crawford accumulates more major accomplishments.
Well, also, if we remember, Canelo, that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other 2 judges scored it for Floyd, of course.
Yeah, nobody had it.
And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he took him, into deep waters. So
what was Canelo? What, 20-something? 20 what? 23, 25?
Yeah, he was. Very, very young in the game, obviously.
Very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah, but
a man that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people. But
how you at the top of your career in your prime? You in your prime? You ain't in your prime when you're at 36. That's not your prime.
Did he lose? I mean,
your prime is in your 20s.
It's different for different people.
Yeah, okay. Well, and that's why Canelo was saying what he's saying.
I mean, don't you?
Want to make himself look like he did something great.
Joel Diaz emphasized that Crawford's chances should not be underestimated, but he considers the weight difference the biggest challenge. He reminded that Canelo has always faced opponents who excelled in both power and stamina. Diaz questions how Crawford, who mostly fought opponents at his natural size, could really hurt someone like Canelo, especially given Canelo's experience, against heavy hitters like Golovkin. According to Diaz, Crawford's technical skills are impressive, but the physical gap remains a significant obstacle. He also points out that fighters often underestimate how demanding it is to move up a weight class, and with Canelo's resilience and strength, this matchup could be extremely tough for Crawford.
You ask him who Skull is, they don't even know who he is. I don't even know who he is. But they chose him for a reason, right? A guy with a good record. But
he's a champion in the
division. Champion.
He's got the other stone that's out there that Canelo needs to connect. Again, the fight against Terence Crawford.
It's a fight for Canelo to win. Simple as that. That's what I can tell you.
Then in September, if Canelo wins, he's got Terence Crawford waiting in the wings.
There is no way that Terence Crawford, being to me my favorite fighter, the best fighter pound for pound, can beat Canelo. A 147-pounder moving up to 68, he can only maybe go 2-3 rounds, good 2-3 rounds, and then Canelo hits him and he hurts him. Canelo's being hit by Triple G, the hardest hitter in the division, and never hurt him. But Canelo will hit Crawford and he'll hurt him. Let's put it this way. You remember the fight Benavidez and Demetrius Andrade?
Yes.
Demetrius Andrade was a great fighter. Nobody wanted to fight him at 54. He moved to 60. Fought 1 or 2. Nobody wanted to fight him at 60. So what did he do? He moved up to 68 because there was nothing for him to fight Benavidez, a big fighter like that. Look what he did in the first early round. Demetrius Andrade was in control. He was doing great. But once that weight starts kicking in, it takes over. There is no way that Crawford can beat Canelo. Turkey Al-Sheikh, it's a big fan of Terence Crawford. He wants to give him a good payday, and simple as that. That's all it is, man.
The discussion about ring size adds another strategic angle to this fight. Whether the ring is 18 feet or 22 feet, experts agree that it likely won't have a major impact on the outcome. Crawford's supporters believe a larger ring could give him the opportunity to use his footwork and angles to outmaneuver Canelo, allowing his slick style to neutralize the Mexican star's pressure. However, analysts point out that Canelo has faced opponents in both small and large rings and has consistently adapted effectively. While a bigger ring might offer a slight advantage to Crawford, it cannot outweigh Canelo's power and natural size. Ultimately, this matchup will be decided by execution and skill, not by the dimensions of the ring.
One of the biggest things in this Canelo-Crawford fight we are not talking about is the ring size. If these guys are fighting in the non-traditional 18 by 18 ring, you're gonna want to put your money on Canelo, guys. It is a big difference. Losing out on that extra 4 feet is gonna be an issue for Crawford. It's still possible. Crawford's talented, he's athletic, he has all the potential in the world to pull off a crazy upset here. No matter the ring size, it don't matter. Terence Crawford's that brilliant, he's that excellent. But I'm gonna tell you, man, losing out on that 4 feet is gonna hurt his odds. It's the same thing with 22 feet. Like I said, I don't know what ring they're going with, but if it is in the 22 feet, it's gonna hurt Canelo's odds by a pretty decent margin. Maybe not as much as it's gonna hurt Crawford odds in the 18, but it's still gonna hurt it. You're giving Crawford an extra 4 feet to pivot, maneuver, slip, bob, weave, do whatever he wants. That's gonna give Canelo some issues. I feel like we're not talking about this enough. I heard Turkey said it was gonna be an 18. That was a really long time ago. Like I said, I don't know if they've confirmed what it's gonna be quite yet, but I think it's interesting. Once we get the official announcement, you guys, that's when you place your bets.
Crawford's impressive victory over Errol Spence gave many fans confidence in his chances against Canelo. That performance highlighted his timing, adaptability, and finishing skills, solidifying his dominance in the welterweight division. However, analysts warn that while Spence is talented, he isn't naturally as big as Canelo. They reference fighters like Israel Madrimov, opponents Crawford hasn't faced yet, who could truly test his limits. In contrast, Canelo has already faced such challenges, fighting bigger opponents and consistently competing at the highest level. The concern is that Crawford's welterweight brilliance may not be as effective against a physically dominant fighter like Canelo in the super middleweight division.
Hey y'all, the simple real fact is, Terence Crawford never looked that good fighting anybody but Errol Spence. Another real fact is, y'all put too much on Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. Y'all act like he just beat fucking Jesus or Thanos or something. Okay, I get it. Errol Spence was that guy. He beat him. He dominated him. He won that fight. But y'all take that and y'all put so much on that fight, but then y'all look at the Madrimov fight and say, he was a tricky fighter. He's hard for anybody. No one can beat Madrimov. He's the second best fighter in the world because he went 12 rounds with Crawford. Not the case. Y'all put too much on the Errol Spence fight and y'all don't put enough on the Madrimov fight. Then we go back to Canelo. Y'all say Canelo, he don't stop nobody. When last time he knocked nobody? If he can't knock out Berlanga, he's not gonna knock out. If he can't knock out him, he's not gonna knock out Crawford, bruh. Just like Crawford went up to 54 and he couldn't get a knockout. Canelo has went up to 75. He couldn't knock out Bivol. He went up to 68. And those guys are way bigger. He's fighting guys way bigger than him. Crawford could knock out Madrimov because he's his size. So you think he gonna knock out Canelo? He's bigger than Canelo. Bro, Canelo got a granite chin. I don't know if y'all know the Canelo. And the only people who saying that Crawford's gonna knock Canelo out is people who has to be casuals. They probably have not watched the fight since the Tank last fight, or they probably ain't watched the fight since the Errol Spence versus Bud Crawford fight. Cause I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all niggas didn't even see that Madrimov fight. Y'all just synced it and y'all running with it. Cut it out.
Gabe Rosado described Canelo's loss to Floyd Mayweather as a turning point in his career. At the time, Canelo was still developing and lacked experience against a defensive master like Floyd. According to Rosado, that defeat taught Canelo a valuable lesson that shaped him into the fighter he is today. Since then, Canelo has grown in confidence, refined his technique, and learned to handle a variety of styles. With this progression, Rosado believes Canelo is now more dangerous than ever, meaning Crawford will face a mature, battle-tested Alvarez in the ring.
Could be too soon for Xander, but who knows, man? I mean, who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel like Canelo needed more seasoning when he fought Floyd, or do you think that Floyd just got his number? Period.
Yeah, I think he was very inexperienced when he fought Floyd. You know, he's a different fighter, but see, everybody's different. that fight is what made Canelo become the fighter that he is today. So, you know, that's why boxing, man, is like when they shame guys for losses, it's like, man, you just got to really see how a fighter bounces back from a loss. It's like, because, you know, when Canelo lost to Floyd, there was a lot of things that Canelo learned in that fight that he added to his game. Next thing you know, Canelo started moving his head and his counters got better and his speed, and he understood timing. He understood how to like break guys down differently because he learned that off Floyd. So I think it was a good learning experience for Canelo. And then, you know, I think that kind of fight is gonna help him in the Crawford fight.
Sebastian Fondora warns that Crawford may not fully realize the impact a fight with Canelo could have on him. He explains that competing at super middleweight requires not just physical preparation, but also long-term adaptation, a skill Canelo has honed over years. The Mexican champion has built his career around the challenges of this division and consistently facing bigger opponents. In contrast, Crawford is stepping into this weight class for the first time, which could test him both physically and mentally. Fondora believes that after the fight, the true effect of this challenge on Crawford may become apparent.
Could be. We'll see what PBC has for us.
To play with Canelo or Crawford?
Canelo. Canelo.
What do you think's the most significant part of that matchup in Canelo versus Crawford?
That he's comfortable at 168. You know, that he's been fighting there. He went and collected all the belts at that weight class. Crawford, of course, Crawford has a chance. He has a big chance, you know, being one of the pound-for-pound fighters of the world. But it's just the advantage of being there first. You know what to expect in that weight class. Crawford's coming off a 154 fight that he fought last year. So I really don't consider him even a 154. He's been fighting at 147 for a while. He had that one fight at 154, and then he stopped fighting for a year again. So, you know, of course, he's probably been training, you know, again, high-class fighter. But to be comfortable at 168, you're going to have to do some fights in there. And going in there fighting the undisputed champion, it's going to take a toll.
What about Ennis? He's the new addition to 154. He's yet to fight there. Canelo brought him in camp specifically because he's a switch hitter like Terence Crawford. What do you make of Ennis just not being in your division and then him contributing to Canelo's camp heading into this fight? Is that a good move?
I think it's good for Canelo's camp to have a fighter like Ennis. Because, yeah, he likes to switch right-handed, southpaw. I think Canelo probably didn't need that. But, you know, the fact that Ennis went might cause a little bit of drama. I think he did for a dramatic effect. But, you know, great fighter at 147. But 154 is a different division. They have me in there, so we'll see what he can do.
Critics often debate the entertainment value of Crawford's style in a matchup against Canelo. While Crawford is a technically brilliant fighter, some argue that his fights lack the explosive moments that usually capture the general audience's attention. In contrast, Canelo has built his reputation as a fighter who delivers drama, whether through knockouts, body-punching showcases, or high-stakes matchups. Analysts point out that even if Crawford beats Canelo, it doesn't automatically make him the global face of boxing. To reach that level, Crawford would need to take on and defeat other formidable opponents, like Dimitri Bivol, proving his ability against bigger and more dangerous fighters. Only then could he truly earn the kind of global spotlight that Canelo enjoys.
More nervous, you know, the closer you get, the more outlandish these statements were. We had one outlandish one that his fighting style is not entertaining. Right? Canelo's fighting style is more entertaining than Terence Crawford's. I don't know what lens you're looking through, right? Well, why isn't Terence Crawford's fighting style entertaining? So that's one thing. Well, here's the next one. Now, check this out. They're saying that Terence Crawford won't even be great if he were to defeat Canelo Alvarez. He won't be great if he defeats Canelo Alvarez because all the stuff he's done until now, becoming two-division undisputed, beating a lot of undefeated fighters and a lot of fighters with one loss, seems to not be anything. But even beating Canelo Alvarez, the face of boxing, four-division champion, undisputed super middleweight champion, none of that would matter because they list fighters that he would have to beat to become great. And most of them are fighters that four-division champ, Canelo Alvarez, that he won't fight. He would have to beat Artur Beterbiev, right? Canelo ain't fighting him. He would have to beat Dimitri Bivol, who Canelo won't fight again, definitely at 168 pounds, because he wants to fight him at 175, because he wants to have the excuse that that weight could be too big for him. Dimitri Bivol wants to fight Canelo Alvarez at 168, so he can become 2-division undisputed. Canelo doesn't want that. But Crawford has to beat that guy, right? Crawford has to beat David Benavidez as well, right? We know Canelo doesn't want to fight him, but Crawford has to beat him to become great, right? Remember, Canelo's great already. Then he would have to fight David Morrell.
That's it for today's video. Stay with us until the next update.